This is what hard feels like. I've prepared an essay for you. Enjoy. It just takes volume, incremental improvement, consistency, and here's the one that I, in a way, battle with every day: time. Sometimes you're doing all the right things, you just haven't been doing them for long enough. That's where I am right now, in the Rocky cutscene. In the movie, it may last 5 seconds, whereas in real life, it may be 5 years. The in between place where your quality is good enough that you're no longer an amateur, but when being judged as a professional, you're just mediocre. Going from zero to here is quite fun, if I'm being honest. I'd compare it to the first couple of months in the gym where you're making the most rapid improvements and you almost, for 5 seconds there, start to think that you're huge. Then it happens. You get good enough to gain perspective and you realize that although you have improved rapidly, in the grand scheme of things, you haven't made that much progress. It is at this point that the rate of progress slows down, but at the same time, you're gaining perspective and an intimate understanding of your craft. At this stage, the raw numbers aren't improving as rapidly as before, but technically, you're improving every session. And by technically, I mean as a technician, your skill is improving with every repetition, and you're becoming better at doing the thing. You're beginning to understand what it takes and what improvements to make. Then you get to the place where the best are separated from the rest. When you've been doing it long enough that you're not new, but still not long enough to be good. When internally, the most change you'll experience all at once is happening. Externally, perhaps the numbers have stagnated. What the outside doesn't know is that now you're gaining an appreciation for quality. You've realized that not all reps are born equal. This is where I find myself today, my friends. In between mediocre and meteoric. Where nothing new and shiny is happening for me, but I need to keep working so that when it clicks, I'll be who I need to be to take full advantage of the opportunity. This is what hard feels like. This is where most people quit, and this is why they don't win. In the beginning, it's shiny, it's new, it's fun. Nearing the end, you do kind of have a rhythm, and there's a different kind of hard, which may be things that are genuinely cognitively challenging, or they just happen in longer time frames. That those may be the challenges that you're dealing with at that time. But your basic living is probably going to be the best that it's ever going to be out of all these periods. And then there's here. This is where most people quit, and this is why they don't win. This is the valley of despair. Um, this is where you begin to have an understanding, if you're paying close enough attention, that it is more so about value per second than it is about seconds of value. That an amateur could be producing whatever it is, whatever craft it is, for 5 hours without rest and not produce in as much quality or even close. It's unfathomable how far the difference actually is. Because what a professional can do in 30 minutes compared to an amateur in 5 hours is ridiculous when you actually have the perspective to see the differences. And just like you wouldn't compare a professional bodybuilder and their 30-minute session in the gym to an amateur just walking around on their phone, chilling with their friends, etc. The two intensities, and even when he is actually doing what he's supposed to do, the quality is nowhere near the same. And getting from there, and you begin to cut off the phone time, you begin to cut off the chats in between, and you actually start doing what you're supposed to be doing. It is in that you realize that there's more of a difference than the poundage. We sometimes think that the weight is everything. I'll actually tie this into one last thing, and then I'll cap it off. 2023 went from 70 kgs to about 110 odd kilograms at 5'9", 5'10", if I'm being generous. And that's a big boy. And I actually look up the stats of professionals who are around my same height, and I found that I was actually heavier than them at that time. And I know you're thinking what I was thinking. Interesting. Then you look at the quality. Then, as myself, who has already put the reps in to get there, I already have the perspective to be able to understand that, oh, okay, this is not the same 110 kgs. Underneath my 110 kgs is 90 odd kilos of muscle, if I'm lucky. Whereas for example, at 5'11", Joshua Tuisova is 110 odd kilograms. That's 110 kgs of muscle, pure beef. You know, if he bulked up and he got as puffy as I got or whatever, he'd probably be closer to 120, 130, right? But he's trimmed down and he's lean. I'll bring it back. And when you begin to, for example, create content, or so even if you did music or whatever the case is, in the beginning, you may start doing your little, say you're rapping, you may start doing your little intricate syllable, this and that, you know, like potato to potato, I see the tomato, I have the bravado, you know, you're starting to do your little thing. And as you get deeper into it, you start to realize the intricacies of the art, of the craft. Then you realize how far ahead the big boys actually are. And I believe that this can happen across the board. And this is what separates the winners from not. It is this period. If you can put your head down during this period, then you can come out on the other side and become that which you desire. But it is in this in-between phase that you need to understand that all hard work goes unnoticed until you win. And when you're working extremely hard and you're improving every session and there's no external validation to say so, I'm here to tell you today, this is what hard feels like. Now, I know I just talked about the the tendency to think of seconds of value instead of value per second, etc. And with the video I'm going to recommend is a bit of a longer one, but I did just drop a whole life plan, a whole business plan, and it's a whole life condensed into it's almost an hour long. But I promise you, I was bearing this in mind when I was creating this as well. it is as far as I can. I'm not as technically proficient as the great people that I aspire to be like one day. But at my level, this is a good shove. It's a good effort. Yeah, go check out that video. And if you do want to support the channel, then please do subscribe. Thank you very much. I've been Sage, signing out.